If your document includes any captions for figures, equations, or tables, you may find it useful to provide a table of figures for your readers. This makes it easy for your readers to search for a specific item in your document. Although Word calls this a table of figures, you could create a separate table for each label you're using in your document. So, for example, in our document here, we have an illustration and two tables. We could create a table of illustrations and a table of tables. Let's give this a try by creating a table of figures that lists the tables in this document. The document I have open here is called Employee Manual with Captions. It's the same document I used in the previous video to add the captions to. If you've been following along closely with me, you could simply use the document you've been working on. Otherwise, you can open this one. You'll find it in the Chapter 3 folder. Start by telling Word where you want the table to go. You do this by positioning the insertion point. Word will insert a table of figures at the insertion point. In my example, I'd like to insert the list of tables at the beginning of my document, so I'll position the insertion point right before the word Introduction on the first page. Then I'll click References, and then click Insert Table of Figures. The Table of Figures dialog box appears. The top half of the dialog box offers two previews, a print preview and a web preview. This gives you an idea of what the table will look like as you make changes to settings. The options are below that. You could toggle checkboxes to specify whether you want to show page numbers, and if so, whether you want to right-align the page numbers or have them right next to the text. If you show and align page numbers, you can also choose one of the tab leaders from the menu. Your options are none, dots, dashes, and underscores. The Formats menu under General enables you to choose a style. Each time you choose a different style, the preview changes accordingly. I'm going to leave this set to From Template so that it picks up style information from the document template. The Caption Label menu lets you specify what you want to create a table of. This menu will list all the labels available in Word. Normally, that will be equation, figure, and table, but if you recall, in the previous video, we added the illustration label, and that appears too. The label we want to choose for our document is Table, so make sure that's selected. The checkbox beneath that lets you include or exclude the label number from the table. I'll leave that turned on. Two buttons at the bottom of the dialog box give you access to more features. The Options button displays the Table of Figures Options dialog box. This makes it possible to build the table of figures from a specific style used in the document or from table entry fields. This is a bit more advanced than most Microsoft Word users need, so I'm not going to go into this. I do talk about advanced table of contents options later in the course. You might find them very similar to the options in this dialog box. The Modify button here enables you to modify the style applied to the table of figures entries. You'd select a style from the list, in this case there's only one, and click the Modify button. That lets you modify the style. This is just one way to change the appearance of text in a table of figures. You can also modify the style applied to a table of figures as you would modify any other style in Microsoft Word. At this point, the dialog box has the settings I want, so I'll click OK. The table of figures, which lists all of the tables in my document, and there's only two, it appears before the introduction. In a later video, we'll add a page break so it appears on a separate page. Note that this entire table is inserted as a Word field. If I click it, the entire thing becomes selected. Because it's a Word field, if the document changes, I can update the table to ensure that I have the correct page references. And I'll talk more about updating references later in this course when I cover finalizing a long document. If your document had many tables, figures, illustrations, or other captioned items, you could create a separate table for each one. Including a table of these items helps your readers find information they may need in your long documents.